Welcome to Tone's Crib after a long, long, long layoff. um, Today, basically, it's me and G, and we are gonna have it's a primer. What we're gonna do is we're gonna have a primer on child support, basically, because we've been seeing in like in different shows and stuff that we watch, and I've been hearing a lot of people talk about like what a disaster it is to have to go through child support and going to court for it and getting served papers. And there's a lot of misconceptions as to what exactly child support is or what it's for. It's I don't Me personally, I don't think it's a bad thing. And a lot of this is going to be basically my experience with child support because I've had a lot of experience. I mean, my kid at this point is 17 years old. He thinks he's a grown ass man, but he's still a little baby. But I had to go through this early on, and I remember it was like when I first got served, it was like a huge thing because it was basically done. I think it was done as a slight. It was done a lot of things when you break up with someone and you have a kid, and especially you're not married. A lot of things that are done as like slights or like the kid is used as a weapon sometimes, like try to just like screw you over or get back at you or and it's kind of silly, like, and you realize it later on, like all the stupid things you were fighting over or arguing over really were like pointless. You know, you
Well,
wasted
what
a lot of
happened? What had
time.
happened to you? Like how when you broke up with your baby mama? How long after did she take you to child support?
It was about a month. What happened was I had when we broke up, we weren't married. And basically what happened was I was given money. I was given a certain amount. It was actually a decent amount. And I was given weekly. And of course,
You were giving her cash on hand.
yeah, but yeah, just straight cash every week. After I got paid, she got cash.
Mm-hmm.
And it got to the point where when it was realized that we weren't really going to get back together again, but I guess once it sunk in, you know, and anger came up, she decided at the advice of friends and family that she should take me to child support because she would get more money than what she was getting, which wasn't true because when you go to child support, they only take a certain amount. And now I know in New York State it's 17%. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever you make, they take 17% of that. And what I was giving was way more than 17%.
Well, it's 17% of whatever you make
Whatever
per
you make.
week, right?
Well, not per week, but the 17% of just whatever your gross income is. So if you get paid weekly or bi-weekly, whatever you get, they're going to pull 17% out before
Mm-hmm.
taxes, which is it's not as bad as we would think it is. It's not a large amount. And with me, I basically looked at it as, you know, if you're going to take me to court and you're going to make me do this, then, you know, that's all you're going to get from me. I'm not giving you anything else. So what happens is you go to court. Well, you get served at first, and getting served is kind of it's more of an embarrassing situation for you.
Wow,
Not that any.
where were you served?
I was served. Where was I served?
Were you at work or did they come to your house?
No, they came to my house.
Okay, so
Yeah, they came to my house, but it was just a pain because you have it's marshal. You actually have marshals do it, or you have a friend do it. There's like certain days you can do it, and it's a whole thing. But
or you can go to.
basically,
I mean, you can go to the precinct and have one of the police officers.
no, they won't do it.
Really?
Yeah, they won't touch it. It has to be a marshal.
For child support?
Yeah, it has to be a marshal
That's
or it
when
has to be like a friend or family, but the cops won't do it anymore. They used at one point they did, but they not anymore. They don't.
See, I've served somebody, but not for
Yeah,
child
it's different.
support.
Yeah, child support is different. And you know, when you go to court that first time, they want you to bring a certain amount of pay stubs with you so they know. Look, they only take from what you do on the books. So whatever you take off the books, that's up to you. If you want to report that or not, um, I would recommend not to.
Not to what?
Don't report your off the books shit because the off the books work is not guaranteed work. You know what I mean? You don't make that steady. That's every once in a while. So when you have off the books work like that,
Depending on what you're doing.
yeah,
I
you
guess.
bring your on the book shit, and you don't want to get into all kinds of fucking problems with taxes and shit like that. because, like I said, child support is reported and it becomes part of the system. You don't want to have to be responsible for money that you don't get regularly. So, on the books shit, 17% off of what you get on the books. That first day you go in, also you get an opportunity. They give you an opportunity of to find out if the child is yours or not. That's another thing they do.
Oh
Like,
yeah, the DNA
they
thing.
ask you, do you claim, do you agree that this is your child? Yes or no? And it is probably, if you have any question in your mind of whether or not that child is yours, that's the time to do it, because that's the time she has to agree to have the DNA test done. Because no other time will that's not an easy thing to get from somebody. You know what I mean? Because you're basically saying that they cheated or they, whatever. But
I mean, you
have
can,
a question.
you can get a paternity. You can request for paternity, but it's just going to be a lot more, I guess, more
It's a hassle.
intricate. Yeah.
But
But
to
at
do
the
it
end of
at
the
that
day,
moment,
but you still have the right to.
oh yeah, well you have the right
Yeah.
to, you have the right to request it, but they don't have to comply.
Mm-hmm.
But once,
I mean, you can find out on your own too. But I mean, to go through the courts, you can do
Yeah,
it.
it's not
It's just it's like.
but with child support, like if she wants to get child support from you, it has to be proven that that's your child, or you have to claim the child. And once you claim, it's really hard to, like if you claim it's your child and you find out, 3 years, 4 years down the line that it isn't your child, that's your problem.
Well, what was your experience? You got served at what, at home?
I did. I got served at home by the marshals. And they come, they knock on your door like the marshals do, you know what I mean? They bang and they give you the paper and all this other bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's more of an embarrassing thing. It's not that bad of a situation. I would actually recommend that if you broke up with somebody and you had a child, and if you know you're not going back, that you go and you file for yourself. You offer child support. It's only going to make you look better, and in the long run, it's going to help you out, because they do arrears, and I know that when I did arrears, basically that's back child support. They did it back to when the child was born. So we broke up like 2 years after.
When was it?
The
How
child
long ago
was
was
born.
this?
That was when my son was like, I would have been 15. At this point, it was like 15 years. But when I broke up, we broke up 2 years after the child was born, and they didn't care. They made me pay arrears, calculated for 2 years, from when he was born. Mm-hmm. So I had to pay. And the thing is, if you're giving money on your own and you have no receipt or nothing saying that this is money given for child support, it doesn't count.
Yeah, I know that.
You know what I mean?
I was told that.
Yeah, they'll make it. They don't care what you gave or what you didn't give. There's no proof. They're not going to count it. So you're still going to have to pay child support for that amount of time. And basically, when it comes to child support, like if you want visitation, and that's another thing I would recommend court ordered visitation, because when it comes to court ordered, the court will say, you can figure out basically if you want visitation or if you want custody. You can fight for both. I know a lot of guys are afraid to go out and like fight for custody. You as a guy, you can get custody.
So okay, the reason why we're talking about all this is because we were watching Black Ink.
Yeah, basically.
And one of the guys on what's his name? Oh shit. His baby mama decided to take him to child support because apparently he's not pulling his weight and doing his part. So she, decided to take him to child support. Right? Because he gives like $150 every 2 months, and she knows that he makes a lot more money and that he lives in public housing, and she's like, she feels like it's an injustice, and she feels like she needs the help.
Right, and I don't disagree with that.
Yeah,
I don't really. I mean, if you can afford, you have a child. Even if the child was made by mistake, you both made the mistake, and you should, try to play your part. That kid has nothing to do with any of the fuck ups that anybody else made. You know what I mean?
Why did your baby mama take you to child support?
I believe that it was because she had friends and family that figured they could get more from me. You know what I mean? Like I was paying a certain amount. At the time I wasn't.
Well, how much did you have to pay?
No, at the time I was paying like $190 a week,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't making that much. I was making like 11 an hour at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and
And you were giving her. You said you were giving her more than that. How much were you giving her?
I was giving her one. No, I was giving her 190 every week.
Mm-hmm. But that was child. That's
Right.
not child support. You said you were giving her more than that.
Right.
How much were you giving her before she took you to child support?
No. That's what I was giving before she took me to child support.
Mm-hmm.
190 a week, and when I went to child support, it was where I don't remember what it was. I think it was around like $89 or $90 every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So
you ended up giving her less.
Less, right? And after that point, I mean, just for putting me through child support, whenever she asked, I was like, no,
how did you come up with 190 on your own?
I just figured it was a fair amount. You know what I mean? Like the kid needs food and diapers, and that shit is expensive. You know what I mean?
So you were giving her like $10 shy of $200 a week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for food and diapers.
That's like $800.
Like
that's almost a little under $800 a month, right?
Yeah. And he was on my insurance, my medical insurance already, which is another thing they make you do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess now with Obamacare it would be different anyway. You'd have to have insurance anyway. But at the time, it wasn't like that. At the time, you know, I had insurance from work.
So you were giving her 190, and her family and friends told her to go to child support because
she could get more.
You know, she would get more, and then she ended up getting like $90 every 2 weeks.
Yeah,
that's only $180 a month.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what they determined, you know.
And how did that affect, you know, the relationship between you guys?
Well, it was already strained at that point.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So was she upset that, you know, she was getting less?
Yes. But she didn't make it known for a while because I guess the embarrassment of like going through all of this to get less money didn't make any sense anyway. You know what I mean? Because I had told her from the get-go, they're not going to take more than what I'm giving you. Mm-hmm. And she was like, yeah, well, we're going to do it anyway and this and that. And I know one of her friends, I know for a fact, she was telling her, you know, you can get so much more money, you can get this and you couldn't.
Because they go by what you claim on your income.
Yeah. So it's you know, it's just goes by what you make.
Mm-hmm. So technically, you kind of ended up, you know, having the upper hand in that situation.
And when you go for visitation or custody, they the first thing they ask is, are you paying child support or are you supporting the child? And the only thing they really take into account is whether you're actually paying child support through their child support system. And it is something like
what kind of custody were you awarded once you were taking the child support and you were paying the $90 every 2 weeks?
Well, at first I had what I went for was visitation because at the time I think we spoke about this at that time too. I didn't feel like I had as a guy I didn't feel like they would give you the child. I mean, really the consensus, like what a lot of people believe is that as long as you're female, you're going to get custody, no matter what. Mm-hmm. That's the belief a lot of people have. And it's really not true. It's not hard to get custody. As long as you can provide the child with, you know, a place to stay and they're safe and they have a place to sleep and they go to school, you can get custody of your child. As a guy, you can get custody of the child. It just, you know, comes down to whether you want it or not. And at the time, I didn't know. It wasn't until I spoke to you, and I know I had spoken to a lawyer at a certain point. Mm-hmm. And the lawyer was telling me, you can get custody. It's not really.
You told me about the custody thing?
Yeah, we had spoken about it. But you had told me that you had a friend that was going through.
Oh, my ex was, well, put it this way, my ex was away. And then when he came out and he finished school and stuff like that. And I know his baby mama, because he had 2 kids with 2 different women.
Right.
And I know she had taken him to child support. So the minute he started working, you know, I guess until he started you know, receiving checks and stuff. Right. Eventually they started garnishing his check.
Right.
And I know his mom, before she died, told him that you need to petition for visitation because she was just not letting him see the kid at all.
Yeah.
And, you know, she was just kind of like dicking him in the sense, like she would tell him, you know, all right, so then come on so-and-so date by 4:00. And I remember telling him, like, yo, listen, you need to be on time, because if she's doing all this bullshit, if you're not there at 4:00, she's going to bail with the kid. And that's exactly what she did. So eventually he ended up going to, to the court to petition for visitation rights. And I know, they send somebody to your house, just to check to see, if the place you're staying at is in livable conditions, and, all that stuff.
They come to see if you have food in the refrigerator, you have a place for them to sleep, if it's safe, if you're stable.
If it's clean and all that, all that stuff. But he had to go, it was kind of good that he did that, but they were already like garnishing his check, so I think it made it a lot more easier for him to get the visitation. And I remember her getting upset at him.
Yeah.
It was so funny. My understanding from like just watching the whole thing, and I don't know if this is other people's experience with it, but from what I see, it's usually because there's animosity between both people.
Yes.
It really has nothing to do, from what my experience and my opinion is, just it really has nothing to do with the kid. It's really between the parents. Like, they have unresolved issues.
Yes.
People have resentment,
and the child becomes a weapon, basically, between the two. See, and look, there's certain things. First of all, garnishment, I recommend it, because it takes it out of your hands. So there's none of that, oh, he didn't pay me, and then you have to prove, yes, I did.
Yeah, because before they started garnishing his check, he was sending the payments by money order.
Right.
And, he was keeping all his, like, records and stuff like that. But,
then
they started just garnishing. It's just much easier
better
that way, because, there's paper trail, and it's documented, and, it just...
Yeah, because they can very, very... Something else we saw on Black Ink that happened. They can very... if they're not garnishing your check, they can very easily just say you're not paying, and the police will come and pick you up and put you in jail overnight and everything. Yeah, they'll do
and
it.
They take your passport.
Yeah, your driver's license, your passport, everything. They'll take it.
I remember he wasn't allowed to travel. I don't believe.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah. So I would recommend having it, like, go in and ask for it to be garnished, so that it'll come out of your check. I'm telling you, you'll get used to paying child support. It will not affect you in the slightest.
I mean, you pay for insurance, you pay for taxes.
Yeah, you'll forget about it. Yeah. And another thing to get out of, you really need to get out of your head, is that, yes, the money is supposed to be used for the child. The money will not be used for the child. It's not going to happen. The money is
depending on who's handling the type of person they are, who's handling the money.
Let me tell you something. The judge will never, ever... They won't even entertain. They don't care. If you believe that money's being used for car payments or cable or whatever, the judge don't care. They don't care. Just pay the money.
It's just the money's coming out. And I mean,
imagine it goes into
this way. Put it this way. Whether she decides to use it to fucking pay her electricity, part of the rent, that's still, heating, giving a child, electricity. It's still putting a roof over its head. Like, it's in addition to everything else that it's expensive.
Let them garnish it. Let it come out automatically, and just let it go. It doesn't matter. Let that shit. Like I said, the garnishment will help you in the long run. They keep track of everything.
I think I remember also something like for like my ex, his baby's mom, they give her like a debit card. And it was going into an account,
I know if
it was going into an account, and she had like a debit card.
If this person serving you is collecting like welfare or any kind of like food stamps or anything, it's also automatic. So that's another thing. If they go for
automatic, meaning like they have to pay that, they have to pay their welfare back.
No. Like if they go to public assistance for food stamps or welfare or anything, they have to take you to child support. That's another thing.
Oh yeah,
they have to. You have. You're going. They will come for you. And it's funny because public assistance will come for you.
Well, no, not. I'll tell you this way: not unless you say you don't know where the father is.
That doesn't work anymore.
Well, I'll tell you this much. Yeah, for my mom, it did.
Yeah, but that was weird. But I'll tell you something hilarious. Not in the hilarious in part of what the system does. My son's mom passed a few years ago. To this day, anything I do that has to do with like public assistance, whatever, because there's a lot of stuff that he has to go through because of her passing. Like a lot of paperwork I gotta have filled out for him.
Oh yeah, because he gets Social Security.
They
correct?
make so every 6 months they make me prove that she's actually dead. They'll send me a letter every 6 months. And every year insurance will also send me a letter that I have to go to this place. I have to drop off paperwork to basically prove that she's still dead. That she hasn't. Yeah, that she's not alive. It's unbelievable.
Did you do your like through by yourself, or did you go through? Did you get a lawyer?
For child support. For child support, I did it on my own. For custody, which would a whole separate deal. I got a lawyer for that.
What was that like? What did you have to do for custody? And how do you prove that somebody's unfit? A parent is unfit.
It doesn't have to necessarily be that the parent is unfit because she wasn't unfit. The only problem you just have to prove that your household is a better household for the child. And in my case, she moved a lot. So the child had to be. My son was going to different schools. You know what I mean? Like he would be moved from one school to another school, and then from one school to another school, and it was affecting his schooling. And I was in the same place for forever. And if he was with me, he would have been in the same school. From kindergarten, he would have been in the same schools. There would have been no moving.
Well, when did you get custody of him? How old was he when you got custody?
When I got custody, he was 5, maybe. Well, no, that's not true. He came to live with me when he was 5, and he was maybe 9 or 10 when I got custody of him, like officially. Yeah. When I got because.
So wait a minute. So she took you to child support when he was like how old? 2.
2 when he was 2.
And then he started living with you when he was 5.
He was 5. Yeah, when he was 5, he came to stay with me. And
she was cool with it.
Yeah.
So that means he was going to school from your house.
From my house, right. And then he was with me from 5 to, I think it was 5 to 9 or 5 to 10, and then she decided she was going to take him back because she was angry about something. I don't remember what it was. So, you fight about things you don't even remember what the hell you were fighting about because it was so stupid. But
so all that time he went from 5 to about. So he was living with you for 5 years.
Right. Yeah.
And he was going to school fine.
Yeah.
Consistently.
Right.
While he was with you.
Right.
And then she decided that she wanted to take him back, and that's when you petitioned for custody.
Yeah.
So you can keep him here.
Yeah, and it wasn't hard because it wasn't hard to prove that. Because at the time she was living in Jersey, and she was trying to say, "Oh, he's been with me all those years," and I had all the paperwork saying that he was living with me.
Well, he was enrolled in school
2 blocks from where I live, so there's no way she could have been driving from Jersey here and then go to work and then pick him up. No, that's not how it went. And all the teachers are like, "Yeah, this is the father. He lives with the father. We don't know who the mother is. We never see her. She's never here." You know what I mean? And it was just worked out that way. And I got custody. Like I got a lawyer for that. I think for custody you should get a lawyer. If you were married to the person, the courts will make you pay for their lawyer. So you might as well get a lawyer. If you're not married, it's on their own. But I think they actually get a lawyer on their own. Like the child will have his own lawyer. Yeah, the court gives the child their own lawyer. So
how long did that take? Like how?
From filing to actually getting custody.
And was he with you the whole time that you were doing that?
No.
He was still.
He went back. Yeah.
So how long? So
maybe 6 months. It took about 6 months.
So then.
And that's fast. They tell me that's a fast.
And then with those 6 months, he was already like in another. So he was with her in Jersey, going to another school or something like that.
Yeah, going to another school and everything. It was fast, and I think it was fast because of the lawyer. I think the lawyers speed things up. They get quicker dates and they get things done quicker because you have a lawyer. I would really, really like if you're trying to get custody. Number 1, have your shit together and you have all your stuff in order. And number 2, that's for male or female. If you're trying to get custody of your child, make sure you can handle custody of your child because children are expensive and they are a handful, and you kind of have to put your life on hold when you're raising a child. There are a lot of things you're not going to be able to do. So be ready for that. again, back to child support. I recommend have them garnish your check. You move to a new job, you let that new job know, you pay child support, and the job will have it paid. Usually they'll skip a check, so you have like a nice check to yourself, and then the next check it'll be like child support. But I recommend having it garnished. I recommend.
I think they get that money in between when you start regarnishing your check.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
No, but when I've done it, I always had, like, say I started a new job, I always had that one check to myself.
You have like 2, maybe 3 weeks until it gets processed, but then they
add it to you.
Yeah, they collect the missing weeks.
Yeah, it adds up. It's funny because when I stopped,
he was just like, "Oh man," I was like, "The check is out. Pay what you owe, nigga."
It's funny, when I stopped paying child support, there was somehow, I don't know how it happened, but there was like an amount, there was a couple of $100s they had to give me back. I don't know how that worked out, but I didn't ask questions. I just happily took it back. But there was a certain amount they had to give back.
So the whole time that they were garnishing your pay, you were still paying the same amount?
No, they automatically, whenever it changes your job. I guess between when it's garnished, I would imagine that between the job and them, they find out how much you're making, and it's automatic.
They adjust it.
Yeah, because they'll send you a letter.
So how much were you paying when you switched jobs then? Because originally you were paying $90, and then later
it was never, because it wasn't that long of a time that I was paying, and to be honest, when he was remember when he was 5 and he came to live with me, I kept paying.
Okay.
Because she had a daughter. The daughter wasn't mine, and I felt that the money would help with the daughter.
Okay.
So I kept sending money. I mean, I know I'm not going to talk about how much it is in the end, but I know a lot of money. It was a lot of money taken out of my check, and it wasn't.
Well, I'll tell you this much.
Really
I'll tell you this is my ex's son's mom. Like, she managed to get a Navigator. She bought like a used Navigator with money, like,
It's a decent amount. I mean,
put it this way: every little bit, think of it like if you're saving money, like over time, it does add up.
Yeah, it's a car payment, basically. Yeah. Depending on where you're getting or what the person is making, it's a car payment. And the child. It's funny because a lot of times, people make it about the child. I always recommend don't argue in front of the kid, and don't fight in front of the kid. Court order visitation is probably the best thing you could do. Always have it where you can pick the child up in the police station and drop them off in the police station. And I say that because it cuts down on the bullshit. It cuts down on the arguing.
Well, depending on how messy or sticky the situation.
Yeah, it really it cuts down on all of that stuff. It doesn't help anybody to be arguing in front of the child. It really doesn't. You don't want your kids to be worrying about that. And it's funny because when we first separated, it was dirty. Everybody was arguing and fighting. It was your fault. It was my fault. You forget that. It's years after years. You forget all of that shit. You really do. It gets to be silly. Once you get old. When you're younger, everything seems like a big fucking deal.
Well, when you're going through, the truth is, it doesn't matter young or old. When you're going through it, if you don't know how to handle your stresses, everything is a fucking big deal.
Yeah, I'd say look. I've learned to look at a lot of things as shit on a list. I got to do it, and that's how I looked at child support. I looked at it like, look, the kid needs money. I'm gonna do A to B. Look, she needs money. I'll give the money. It doesn't bother me. If he needed something else, I'll go and buy something else. It doesn't bother me. I'm not gonna argue about it. There's no sense stressing about everything. You either can or cannot do something. When it comes to child support, if you're working, then you can't pay child support. Let them take the money out and pay the child support. Mm-hmm. If you can afford more, you always, when you have a station, you're gonna take him out. You're gonna buy him things. You're gonna buy him clothes, and you're not gonna think about it. So you gotta let all that stuff go. Don't argue about it doesn't make any sense arguing about any of that stuff. just worry about the welfare of the child because they grow up so damn fast anyway. You know what I mean? I mean, the time between when the kid's little and the baby and you're fighting about him and when he's in high school and it goes by so fast. It doesn't make sense to sit there and waste time fighting about it.
How were you guys after you started making payments and all that?
In the beginning, like I said, in the beginning it was because it was done, I guess, maliciously. In the beginning, it was difficult.
Yeah, but then he came to live. He came to live with you when he was 5, so she must have been. You know what I mean? I'm sure that freed up her time.
Once things become routine, you don't really care about it. It doesn't bother you anymore. Like when they've been taking money out of your check for like 2 and 3 years, you don't care. You know, you just look at it like, oh, here we go. Let me fill this out.
And how did it affect the kid? How did that?
I try not to fight around him. I'm a very mellow person, and if you want to be angry, the way I look at shit is like if the other person wants to be angry and they want to argue, then something's going on. Let them argue, and I'm not gonna fight with you. You know what I mean? I really don't have time for it, and I don't care enough to fight about certain shit, especially if it's not important. I'm like, look, all right, I'm gonna go. You go home. Don't worry about it. And it diffuses everything. I know a lot of people. I saw a video. There's a video online. It's on YouTube where a guy goes to drop off his son, and he gave his son a haircut with like line up and everything. And the mother's like, I didn't give you permission to get him a haircut. And the grandmother's there too, and they're both screaming at him and arguing with him over the kid got a haircut. Now, and everybody knows. I mean, you're looking at this and you're like, that's not about the kid's haircut.
Yeah,
that's something else. And it's silly.
That's
really, what you're fighting about
petty
is
shit.
silly.
Yeah.
You're fighting just because you want to fight. That's what it comes down to. And the thing is, you're doing it in front of the kid. That kid's got to feel like shit having his parents scream back and forth over a haircut.
That's what I was saying before. Usually, when when the parents are bickering over dumb shit like that, it's really not about the child. It's really about the parents.
Yeah. It is about the parents. There's going to be a lot of things when it comes to child support and all this stuff. There's going to be a lot of shit that you're going to want to argue or fight. Like, you're going to feel hurt. You're going to feel like your pride has been taken from you. You know, yes, a lot of times it's done out of, trying to get revenge or whatever. It's silly. Just let it go. It's not even worth it.
Or don't have no fucking kids.
That is another way to go.
Don't have no children, you know what I
mean? Wrap it up.
Yeah.
But if you got a kid...
Or spit it out, or do whatever do whatever it is you gotta do.
Look, man, if you have a kid, that's the situation you're in. There you are. Deal with it. You don't have kids, and if you don't want to have kids...
Know who you're having a child with, too, because...
That's another thing, yeah. Well, you know what's funny? People change. Never know. You never know what you're with. Look, people... Is
that what happened to you?
Look, a lot of times you get with someone, and the person that you got with in good times is one person, and in bad times they're a completely different person.
Well, how long a time span was that?
About 4 years. It was about 4 years.
But I mean, like in 4 years, you would know. You kind of have an idea.
Nah, not necessarily.
You
think you do until you look. You think you know a person until you see the person you see happy is not the same person you see angry. And when they're really angry and like vengeful, that's a different person. Well, and it's funny because that angry, vengeful person.
But usually there has to be something to tick them off for them to get to that point.
Well, you know what's so funny?
Like I mean. When you're with people, you kind of see little flags, but in my experience, like I've seen shit and like my mistake, I ignored them, I overlooked them shits.
Well, you mistake them for something else.
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
Well, because you doubt yourself. You're like, well, maybe it's not or whatever. But I mean, like, dude, it's still within a specific amount of time.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. But you overlook them. You know what I mean? Look,
I put it as at the time. Like, you know what it is? Like, hindsight. It was hindsight is 20/20, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, at the time. But, like, fuck. I ain't gonna have no fucking kid with you. You crazy.
And sometimes, and sometimes the It's funny because the angry person is not the real person. You know what I mean? That's just a reaction. That's the
well, and some people,
circumstance.
and some people, for whatever their reasons are, they just want to have a kid. They don't care what it costs, who the fuck it is. Because I've met people like that. They want a child. They didn't care who the fuck the mom or the dad would be. They just want a child.
I wanted to have a kid. You knew that. I told you that like when we first met. I was like, yeah, I want to have a kid. I want to have a son. And this and that. I wanted to have.
Let me ask you something. Did you always want to have a kid because you just wanted a child, or because you wanted a family?
I wanted to,
because I know. I've met girls that, you know what I mean. They just want a baby. They necessarily don't want the whole family thing, but they just want to have a baby, and that's why they end up having children by anybody because they want a fucking kid. And then there's people who ideally want a family. So was your reasoning of having a child was because you just wanted a son, or because you actually wanted a family?
No, I wanted a family. Because I grew up in I got 4 brothers, so it's a pretty big family. So, and I wanted a son. That's what I wanted. And when you're in a relationship and you think everything's going good, this is good, everything's cool, I was like, okay, let's start this off, and everything was fine until it wasn't.
And that was you were dating for how long? Like 2 years?
2 years, yeah,
right?
like 2 years, and then we had the baby, and I was there for it till 2 years old. He was like 2, and then that's when everything went bad. But
why do you think it went bad?
It was just an accumulation of things. You grow apart, and you just get. Sometimes you just get tired. You know what I mean? You just.
Because of the behavior, you mean, or
sometimes it's the behavior. Sometimes you just don't get along with a person's family, and you get tired of like impositions, and you just don't want to be with that person anymore. You know what I mean? You grow apart sometimes, and it does get to the point where the child is not enough to stay together.
Well, a kid doesn't fix anything.
No, and the last thing you want is to have a kid there and you're fighting.
It's funny because some people do that. They
just stay together for the kid.
Oh well, they have I've seen relationships where people have children thinking it's gonna fix the person, make a person change, and it doesn't. I've seen people get married thinking the person's gonna change, and it's so funny because usually from my observation, people who do that is because ideally these are people who really wanted to have it, like people who want to have a kid, or people who want to be married.
Yeah.
These are people who are on their to-do list. This is what they really wanted, and they'll do it by any means and necessary.
Yeah.
And what happened? I don't know. I just feel like those things are really big responsibilities, and that's not something not to take lightly. Like you just don't do that with just anybody. Mm-hmm. Dating is one thing. You could date, and when you're dating somebody for 2 years, you kind of know whether or not you really want to continue dating this person or not.
Yeah.
Like 2 years 2 years is a pretty good span of time to know. Okay, I think I can tolerate this person or not.
Yeah, I guess. You know what? I don't know. I think
looking back in your experience,
I think, and it's not to say anything bad about her, but I think she became a different person once the child was born.
How was she different?
I don't know. She was just the way that she acted towards me. I felt like it was. I wasn't comfortable with it, and it was it got old. There was like resentment.
Do you think it might have been when women have kids, they get postpartum depression and shit?
I've thought about that a lot, and it probably was. It probably was. Mm-hmm. But this was a person that she refused, and I think this was a family thing with her. They refused any kind of psychiatric or therapy or whatever. It's out and out refused.
Whether her family was against it or not, did you suggest it to her?
Yeah, we actually had to do, at a certain point, therapy. Mm-hmm. But it was at that point, it was already over. You know what I mean? So
I'll tell you this, from my experience from doing couples therapy, the therapist said it. People come to therapy either to really mend the relationship or to break up.
Pretty much, yeah.
And it's funny because I mean, people look at it like it's like a bad thing. To be honest with you, it's not a bad thing. I would recommend it. You know why? Because you have a third party who's unbiased.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like family and friends, they can be supportive as hell, but not for nothing. Sometimes they don't offer you the best advice. Someone who doesn't have anything to do with either party gives you a better, takes everything in like that's going on in the situation, kind of lays it all out, and then it makes you look at the bigger picture.
Right.
And then from there, you as a person could decide, something, this is not for me, or this is something that I really want to, work. This is something that I really want to throw myself into, And I think that unbiased person, you know what I mean, that third party helps to make you look at the bigger picture and see what's really better for you. Because for me, when I saw it, I was like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's funny because I questioned myself. I thought maybe, okay, I was doing everything, that I could possibly do to make it work, and why wasn't it working, And then this person, the therapist made me realize, bro, you did, you were doing everything right, it's just not for you.
Sometimes things just run its course.
It's not for you.
Because I want to be careful and not. I'm not saying that this person was bad or It
has nothing to do with. You're not making the other person.
No.
It has nothing to do with making the other person look bad.
Yeah, I'm not trying to disparage.
Everybody has a responsibility in a relationship. You know what I mean? It takes two people.
Yeah.
And it's not to lay blame all on one person. It's not really about that. At the end of the day, it took both parties to make that relationship.
Yes.
You know what I mean? People do, you do your fucked up shit and you react to it, and sometimes when you react to it, it's fucked up. Because you're not thinking right. You're reacting from a place of emotion and stuff, and that's not necessarily right. So that's why I say it's responsibility on both parties.
Yeah. It's funny because we went on to actually become very friendly. We were friends. We talked a lot. We talked almost all the time. We talked, and we wound up really cooperating and raising the boy towards the end of her life and everything. And I don't want to disparage. I mean, everybody goes through the same thing in a relationship. I think just towards the end, I think I just got it. I was at the point where it was like this. I'm not comfortable being in this relationship, and I think it would be better for all parties if we just broke up. You know what I mean? Like my mind was made up. She wanted to try and to make it work and everything, and I was just my mind was made up that I didn't. Not in that capacity. I didn't want to keep on going that way. I didn't feel like it would be healthy for me or for her or anything. I thought it was going to be. I thought it would only become a worse situation, and before it gets to the point where you're arguing and fighting in front of the kids, and I just decided I need to cut it, and that's what I did. I cut it, and that's just where it ended for me. I mean, she had hope for a long time that then we would get back together, and we did try, and it didn't.
But wait a minute, but you tried again, knowing that you were already done with it.
Yeah, well, you always you think really about the kids and the situation, and you think maybe I'm not right, maybe I'm wrong, and it wasn't like a try. Like
in other words, you kind of you questioned it. It kind of had like a little doubt or something like that. Right, what you're saying.
Right. Because with me, I'm like once I make up my mind, it's kind of made up. But because there was a kid involved, there were actually two kids involved, and I was like, let me see. Maybe I'm wrong. I wasn't wrong. It just wasn't. We weren't getting along to the point where we should raise a child together. Mm-hmm. Not in that capacity. Not in the same house. No. And it worked out. I think it worked out much better in the long run. I think it did because the children got to see us in a light of not fighting all the time. You know what I mean? Or not arguing all the time. It was sociable.
Well, you're better getting along.
Yeah, we can still meet up and go and eat, or we can go to the movies, or we can do stuff with the kids without fighting, and it wasn't a big thing. And it worked out. It worked out well. I mean, it helps when you can be friends with the person after the fact. and it worked out that way.
Well, it makes it better for everybody.
Yes, it just makes it easier. And look, as long as that child's alive, you're gonna have to co-parent. You know what I mean? Whether you want custody or visitation or not, you have, a part in this kid's life, and you have to try and do the best that you can to put yourself in there and do what's right. Because when those kids grow up, they're gonna, they remember what happened and what who went through what. They know what you did for them. For the most part, you would hope that they know what you did for them. But I say don't use the kids as a weapon or as a shield. Don't. Just do what you gotta do for the kids and get through with it. And again, child support is not a big deal. Just if you're not already paying it, go and have it done. Go take care of it. Get it out of the way, because like I said, you don't want them to come looking for you and you have to pay the arrears and you wind up paying long after the fact. Something you're gonna have to pay until the child is like 18, unless they go to college, and I think it goes up to 22 or 23.
24.
24. Yeah, you gotta pay, and you gotta pay for school and everything. So, take care of that yourself. Get it out of the way. Don't let that be something to have to come in.
Or better yet, don't have the kid.
Yeah, well.
Just saying.
True. Yeah, no, this is true. Look, protection it helps. It's not just protection from having the kid. It's protection from a lot of
Where are you not disease?
Yeah, it's protection from a lot of things. I was in a relationship.
Diseases and child support.
Yeah, but at the point we were in a relationship and we thought it was gonna last, and we thought that this was it, and we were wrong. But we wound up having a kid anyway. You make a decision that's going on. I wasn't young when I had my son. I was 27.
That's still young.
No, it's not. Not to have kids.
30.
Yeah, but still.
Still under 30.
It's actually.
I know. It's not. I know a lot of young 25-year-olds. I feel like 25 is young to have a child. 27 is still young.
No, it's not.
My sister's 28. A lot of her friends, yeah, a lot of 20, like late 20, like a lot of them don't have children. I know people who are 30 who've only had like one sexual partner. Like,
I know people that are 15 and they're on their second kid.
It depends on the era. Because growing up, it seemed like everybody was having a kid. Like it was like pairs of sneakers, like the next Nikes and shit.
Yep, I remember when I was in high school, there were people with kids in school. So for me, 27 was late, especially in my geographic area. 27 was really late. So, it's not, look,
hell no.
Having a kid is not easy. It's not for everyone. It's a big chunk of your life, and you're going to worry about that kid all the time. Every time they walk out that door, just make sure you do your shit right, and you got to do right by it. If anything, you got to do right by the child. Just handle that. We don't have much time left. I want to go into actually. Let's talk about real quick. Like I was telling you earlier, I just saw a documentary. It's called Dear Zachary. It's on Netflix.
I didn't see it though.
I saw it. No, I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna do this. I'm just saying I recommend it a lot. I watched it. I was watching and listening to an interview with Morgan Spurlock, and he recommended it.
Who's Morgan Spurlock?
The guy who did Super Size Me.
Okay.
Yeah, he has the Inside Man, that show.
Is that the guy who is that the guy who went on the 30-day diet, like on the McDonald's shit?
Yeah.
That's him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Morgan Spurlock. He recommended it.
So Dear Zachary is about what?
It's about a doctor, and he gets killed, and he leaves a child behind, and his best friend is basically the child is Zachary, and the best friend is making a documentary to show the child like all the people that his father touched in his life.
What kind of doctor was his father? Who was he?
They don't go into what kind of medicine he did. It was just he was the best friend of the guy making the documentary, and the guy is basically.
He was like a doctor philanthropist or something like that?
Not like a doctor, like a medical doctor.
Oh, so he was.
He was just a good guy. Everybody he came across, like he helped or he took care of, or
okay.
He was one of those guys with like a big personality, and he gets killed, and he has a child. And,
he leaves a child behind.
Yeah, and his best friend is basically making a documentary to leave to the child so the child would know who his father was and what his father did and the kind of person he was and everything. Mm-hmm. and it takes a twist towards the end. It's amazing. It is probably, if I had it like in my top 3 documentaries I've ever seen, it's up there. It's really, really good.
It's on Netflix, you said?
It's on Netflix, yeah. There's that.
What did the father die of? Like,
don't want to say it. You have to
okay, yeah. All right, everybody got to watch it.
Definitely, you have to go. Definitely.
You know, and another good documentary to check out is the food one.
Cooked.
Yeah, that was. It's about maybe like an hour each episode. There's four episodes, and they're broken down by fire, earth, air, and water. It's really, really good. It takes like a real it gives you like a background on like how we eat and going back to like prehistoric and how we even got into the concept of cooking food and how it's affected us now in the sense that as we become householders, we're working more and cooking less, and it's affecting our health. So it's really something interesting. It's really interesting. You should check it out.
Yeah, I started watching it. I saw a part of it. And basically they talk about how we're the only species that actually cooks our food.
Yeah, because foxes don't be cooking food. Like nobody, like animals do not cook their food.
Yeah. I know Morgan Spurlock also has a new documentary coming out called Rats.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about like how people deal with and live with rats all around the world.
Mm-hmm.
It looks pretty good. It looks interesting.
There's rats everywhere.
Yes, there are. I've been watching, like, when it comes to movies, I've been watching it a lot. And I've seen the Brothers Grimsby, which was good.
I still haven't seen any of that. I haven't seen Keanu either.
Keanu's fantastic. It's really
the only thing, I mean, the last thing I saw was The Boss, the one with Melissa McCarthy.
That was good. I like that movie.
It was funny. I'm sorry. There's like a Girl Scout fight scene that is fucking hilarious. It's hilarious.
I saw that Keanu, the Finest Hours was pretty good about the Coast Guard.
Mm-hmm.
And some big rescue that they had to go through years ago. It looks like in the 30s or 40s.
Okay. So it's a documentary?
No, it's not. It's a movie. It's a movie. Yeah.
Okay.
Chris Pine is in it.
Oh. Okay.
It's a really good movie. And also, what was the other one? There was another one. The Darkness I saw. I didn't like that movie at all. It was terrible. It's like a horror movie where they're trying to make like it's a lot of like Native American myth, but it comes across as very. Kevin Bacon is in it. It comes across as like slow and kind of boring. And I saw The Other Side of the Door, which is also a horror movie, but that one is done really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's
I went to start to watch it, but I had a headache and I just went to sleep. The story of my life. I was like, I went to watch it, then I fell asleep.
That's because you just started a new job. You have that you get the
itis? The headache? It's like, I'm working and I'll have a headache.
Yeah.
I need a nap.
Yeah, you got to get used to a new schedule and all that stuff. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know, getting myself acclimated.
Yes. And get used to working with new people and doing new shit. It's not fun. It's a pain in the ass.
It's all right. It's not. But this job is not that terrible. I mean, it's not bad. It's cool. I just need to get like the hang of it. But yeah, it's busy. Makes the time go by really fast. So I don't mind that. That I do not mind at all. And yeah, I mean, it's customer service. So people come in, then they leave. You serve them, they're out.
You like customer service?
I don't know. People seem to like talking to me for some reason.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm really good at customer service. I'm very good at speaking to people. I just don't like doing it. I can't stand doing it.
I don't mind it, but some days I am a human and I have my moments that I just don't feel like being bothered. But you got to do it. Yeah.
It's funny when I worked for the post office. I love the part when you get out and you actually deliver the mail and you'll see the customers here and there and you'll have a conversation or whatever. I hate the part where you sit in the office. The hardest part is actually being in the office.
Mm-hmm.
You have to deal with management and all the rules and all the other things that are just ridiculous because it's not that hard to take your mail, get it ready, and deliver it. Mm-hmm. Any idiot can do it. You know what I mean? They can train dogs to do it. It's so stupid. They make it harder than it has to be. But once you're out there in the street, it's great. You're just walking around and you're talking to people. And everybody loves to see you because you're bringing money and checks and shit.
Mm-hmm. When you're delivering people's packages?
Yeah, people love that shit. They love it when the mailman
comes. They're like, oh, my package came. Yay!
Unless you're like a complete screw-up mailman, which is, when you have your own regular route, you very rarely are. And people love you. Mm-hmm. And it's great. It really is I love that job a lot. But like I said, I'm good with customer service. I just don't like doing it. I'm not like, I don't feel like I'm a people person. I guess I am, because when I do customer service, it's good. I remember when I used to do security, they would send me certain places where other people fucked up because they knew I wouldn't fuck up. You know what I mean? I know how to fucking deal with people in good situations.
That's funny. I have a friend like that. He's always, because he works at a college and then he moonlights and he does security.
Yeah.
And he's always saying how his supervisor is always sending him to these locations because he makes the company look good.
Look good. Yeah. Yeah, I know they would send me different places where somebody, and it was always somebody fucked up or somebody said something they shouldn't have said, and they were always like, I remember it was John. Remember John Alonzo?
Oh, okay.
He was like, somebody just did this and this and that, and we're gonna lose a contract. And, yeah, send Tony. Tony's okay. Tony's not gonna fuck it up. Just go, and I would go, and everything would be cool. And
you know what's so funny? I don't mind helping people at all. I really don't, because you know what I mean. And it's about, you'd be amazed how many people just want to really look. They're looking for somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
I love my experience. It's amazing how, I guess, you know, people don't really get to talk. I guess, or whatever.
Yeah.
But because I come across people with very interesting stories.
It's funny, yeah. When I was working in mailman, you would find like a lot of the older people, they really don't have anyone to talk. They would love to come out.
Older people, or just people that just want to be heard.
You know, it's funny. The saddest thing I ever saw was when I was an EMT, and this is, if you can ask any EMT that works like regular shifts in the same place, they'll tell you there are people that will call 911 just because they're lonely.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They want you to come, and they'll be like, I have chest pain, or I have this, or I have that, and everybody knows them. They really don't. They just want somebody to talk to, and you take them to the hospital. And it's sad because they're old people who are just lonely. You know what I mean? And it's kind of fucked up. You live your whole life, and you get to a certain age, and then you're just so lonely that you got to call an ambulance to come pick you up, and it's kind of fucked up. It makes you feel bad, but it happens. It happens a lot.
You gotta be nicer to each other. You gotta appreciate your friends and family, whatever you have around you.
You gotta take care of your children so that.
Well, if you have children, for those people who have children, I mean, if you don't have children, just don't be an asshole. You gotta be nice to those people around you because, you know what I mean?
You need them to take care of when you get older. You need them to visit you and come by.
It's nice. It's really nice to have somebody, you know, that you can call up, whether it be family or friend, that you know that will listen to you or make you feel like, you know, that you're heard.
That's one good thing. Like I grew up with, I have 4 brothers, and it's nice to know that you always have 4 people that really have no choice but to listen to your bullshit.
If they want to, I mean, they can totally, you know, not answer your phone call.
Well, sometimes, but it's fantastic that, you know, you have people that it's like a built-in thing, at least for a certain amount of time, because at some point they're going to get tired of you and not want to deal with you anymore. But it's nice to have family and friends and shit like that.
Be nice to each other, people.
Yes. Like Bill and Ted, what was it? Be excellent.
Be excellent, I guess so.
Okay, we're gonna sign off. We're gonna hit that 1 hour. Thanks for watching. We will try to do a lot more of these. For the podcast alone, we are going to be only on SoundCloud now. No more iTunes. And also, it's going to be on YouTube, the video portion. So enjoy. Thanks for watching.
We gotta do more movies. I gotta catch up on my movies.
Subscribe.
All right, bye guys.